Ladies and gentlemen, and my friends of the commerce industry, what a great opportunity it is to speak to you, especially when we are about to enter a great event like Adobe Summit 2021. And this webinar is a series that we are going to attempt to connect with you and talk on subjects which are of paramount importance, both in terms of business as well as in terms of becoming successful in what you do. So before I really get inside and start talking about the subject in context, let me take this opportunity to invite you to visit us at Adobe Summit, which is a digital virtual experience conference on April 27th and 28th, where as a sponsor, you'll find a team who will be present there to help you with resolving queries, answer your questions, and at the same time, find out solutions crafted specially for your commerce business. With that in perspective, let me talk about what is the subject of our presentation today. We're going to talk about something which is often not understood in absolute clarity and sometimes not given the due importance that it deserves, which is why in many cases, when you set up an extraordinary site or an engine to run your e-commerce, you'll probably find that the desired results are not coming through. And for that, the subject of today, managing customer journey, is going to be so important and so critical for our success in our business that we need to really spend time to understand this in details and try and do our best to implement to the best of our capability how we can do this to build customer satisfaction and build what we call the real experience that customers are looking forward to. And I'm Saibal Mitra, the Chief Business Officer, who's going to take you through the journey of understanding managing customer journey. Now, why customer journey management? Why is it so important? Today in business, there are several things that we want to achieve, but the primary thing that really builds our success in place is making our customers happy, meeting their experience expectations during the point where they start getting inside our store and start looking at our products which are being displayed and start understanding what our products can do and change their lives or change the way they do their own business. So customer journey is the only way to deliver that experience that our customers are expecting. And, something which is of very, very importance, big importance to us is that when you look at achieving customer satisfaction, reducing churn, there's no better way to make your customers' experience be achieved by understanding the entire journey of your customers. And a journey of a customer starts from the point that the customer starts taking interest in your brand and your products and has that entire journey till the customer really buys from you. And if that does not happen, probably the end results have not been achieved. What is customer journey management? Customer journey management is not just what the customer does, but what we do for the customer. And it's something which is very critical, not just from the perspectives of making a customer happy or meet a customer's experience expectations be achieved. It is also something which create value for ourselves as well, because if customers are happy, if the journey perspectives are met, if the experience perspectives are met, then at the end of the day, the end results that we're looking for, which is acquisition of customers, acquiring the customer's business, and reaching our revenue goals are going to be achieved. And this entire customer journey management is primarily divided into four primary factors. One is that, you really have to understand what is the journey that matters most to you. And this journey has to be mapped with the customer expectations and the business objectives that we've laid out for ourselves. Secondly, we need to track and analyze the data that the customer journey metrics enables us to understand triggers that helps us to actually plan our action points, which are going to help us reach customer satisfaction and meet customers' expectations during the journey process. And then, of course, while we do all this, I think something very important for us is to orchestrate the entire process of the customer journey, which aligns with the touch points, which aligns with the business objectives and the customer expectations to finally achieve the end results. And then, of course, nothing is best achieved till the time you really measure what you've achieved, how much you've achieved, and what are the gaps that you need to fill up with. With that in perspective, I think it's also very critical for us to understand what is the need for customer journey management. Now, if you look at all commerce achievements are based on, our primary objective of reaching growth, profits, return on our investments, but at the same time, the journey management also relates to what we call our business outcomes, the customer satisfaction score that we achieve, the net promoter score that we achieve out of how the customer buys and, advocates about us. And finally, it reduces churn, which in turn builds our business up. So when you actually do a better management of your customer journey, you actually achieve all this in real tangible measures. And that is what customer journey management looks for. So it'll enhance your business ability to personalize and orchestrate the journey so well, so that at the end of it, the customer's expectations are met and the journey success is achieved. We also refer to one of the research work done by Harvard Business Review and published a webinar by them. And this is something which was very interesting. They actually talked about the touch point, the journey mapping. And if you look at the graphic shown in the slide, you probably understand that at every point, the more you are aligned with the touch points with your journey management, you'll probably find that your success is more established. Whether you achieve customer satisfaction, reduce churn, customers' recommendation achievement, they are all done. The moment you fall short in terms of going below par in terms of journey management and aligning your journey management with the touch points specifically, you will probably find that customers are least likely of advocating you, buying from you, and possibly lead to cancellation and churn. So that's the fundamental importance of how customer journey management is important for us. Let me quickly touch upon four primary drivers that the journey management looks at. And these drivers are something which people feel, experience, and thus understand the need of really doing customers' journey management effectively and successfully. So on one side, you have what we call management challenges, where you have people working with data silos in organization. There is lack of organization-wide adoption, metrics and measurements, because journey management is all about data, is all about analyzing customer data to achieve your understanding of the journey, and thus being able to orchestrate vis-a-vis the touch points to ensure that you do your journey management effectively. So these are the challenges that people have been facing. And there is a tremendous need for experience management metrics, because as I said, everything is measurement based. So time and resource allocation internally sometimes becomes a challenge. You have issues with multi-point data. So when we collate that data, you don't know really how to put them in order and get your best data understanding and reporting done, so that you can draw your analysis out of it. So this is something which people feel is going to be critical. And because of this, the journey management becomes very tough. So somehow organizing yourself to drive journey management is going to be very critical for all of us. The other is customer dissatisfaction. When you don't do customer journey management, it finally leads to lack of personalization, lack of understanding what customer expects from us, and thus customers are left unhappy, where we don't meet their expectations. The communications don't become effective. The communications are not done on time. And finally, the customer's goals and needs and preferences are not understood, and we don't achieve what we call meeting customers' expectations. Finally, of course, the journey personalization, which finally matters the most, can never be understood if you don't understand customer data. You don't understand how you need to analyze customer data with the right tools, the right methodology and processes, and thus be able to personalize and orchestrate the entire customer journey to achieve customer expectations management. And finally, ensure that customer experience management is actually optimized. So all these drivers finally make people understand or drive them towards building what is called the journey management perspective, or the interest to really feel how important customer journey management is all about. Crafting customer journey is all about aligning what we call the various touch points on the customer journey, whether it is the actual entry into the store, how you present yourself through multiple devices, multiple touch points. Finally, have you achieved advocacy or purchase is all that matter. So either you are creating a situation where you are creating that positive impact on the customer experience from the customer's perspective, or you're creating a negative experience impact on the customer's mind of the journey process. So all these now need to be structured, put into a process, managed effectively with the right tools and processes to finally achieve what we want to achieve. Let me quickly touch upon the customer journey management process. So basically, this is divided into 4 parts. One is what we call journey discovery. This is important because you need to visualize and understand and prioritize which journey or which part of the journey is critical, or which customer's journey is very important for our business. And we do that prioritization across multiple touch points and map to specific goals that we achieve based on our understanding of the discovery. So this is a process of assessment of the understanding of customer experience vis-a-vis the journey that we are looking at. And then, of course, as we do that, we get into what we call the journey design. And the journey design enables us to define the customer's experience in absolute clarity. So there are goals and expectations of customer that needs to be mapped according to the goals that they need to achieve and what we need to achieve, which will finally define the plan. And finally, we get into what we call the journey validation process and get into what we call the journey analytics by creating these insights with the help of certain tools and technologies to create the journey mapping. Look at the data, analyze the data, and come out with findings which will help us to find out what are the action points that we need to derive at our end to plan our entire journey strategy with the customer and map that journey strategy vis-a-vis the customer experience, the findings of the data analytics, and also what we need to achieve out of finally meeting their expectations of the customer on the various touch points through a series of communications. And finally is a process of journey optimization through a process of engagement. And this is done by what we call journey orchestration. This is an implementation of customer's experience to enable personalization to improve customer experience and drive desirable outcomes, both from the customer perspective as well as from our business perspectives as well. Let me quickly touch upon each of these stages. I'll just quickly touch upon customer journey management, the journey discovery, which actually helps you to establish a customer first culture, visualize customer journeys, identify or break it moments in the overall journey, and project a future state customer experience to spur innovation. And this is very important because this helps us to discover, prioritize, and visualize and align customers' experience across multiple touch points. Then, as I said, the journey design, which is in the journey design, you create an organization alignment with the customer's experience. We plan the journeys, we build customer experience plan that supports future directions and our goals and what we need to achieve out of connecting with the customer in the right perspective with the right touch points and enable what we call reaching customer satisfaction goals. The third is very critical. I think the fundamental planning is based on this critical element called journey analytics, which is to evolve and evaluate the customer journey data and come out with a reporting and structure about the data that will help us to come out with an understanding of how you need to strategize your entire data and customer orchestrations linked to the touch points, which will give you the actions elements to define the goal versus the journey alignment. And this will set the KPIs for what we need to achieve by aligning the customer journey management process with the customer experience expectations so that the customers are happy. We've achieved the goal of customers buying something from us, and finally our business perspectives are met. And then, of course, the real action point or execution, which is to orchestrate the personalized experience that we create out of the data analytics that we've done, and which is going to actually help us understand what are the action points that we need to align along with the customer's journey process, understand the journey, and aligning that with all the touch points that will enable us to build our relationship on a longer term perspective with the customer and ensure that the journey successfully manages the experience outcomes that we need to achieve with our customers. A quick schematic of the journey management flow. As we have always said that, the data that flows in from the customers and various touch points is the fundamental point of understanding how we use the data to analyze and decipher the actual understanding of what the journey is all about, what customers are looking for, what is it that we need to map the journey with the touch points, and how we do it, how critically we understand the journey expectations from the customer's angle, and how do we map it along with our business outcome that we need to achieve. So on one side, we have multiple data sources which comes from CRM, mobile, web, call center data, etc., which we pass it through a set of processes and products to pass it into a product like Adobe Analytics and Audience Manager, which actually does an analysis of the customer's profiling, the data that is generated through multiple sources, and actually create a reporting and analysis out of that. And from there, use that analysis to identify and create a segmentation of the customer, create an understanding of how the touch points map with the customer's behavior, analyze the pipeline of our entire customer journey, and then start creating what we call the journey orchestration by defining the outcome, creating the conditions that matter, mapping with our pipeline, creating the audience segmentation, and map the entire journey orchestration with the customer profiling specifically to create that personalization that will make all the difference in making us effective in implementing and understanding the customer journey effectively to finally achieve the end result, which will finally lead us into two primary ways of reaching out to the customer. One is through a set of action points, which we call interactions, and the other is through messaging. The messaging could be through your transactional messaging, could be targeted campaign, which could be used, products like Adobe Campaign, which actually does business growth and journey management, services and solution creation. And we could use Adobe Target, which does targeting and personalization, and do all our interactions through multiple touch points like email, video, SMS, print, TV, mobile, display, desktop, and several other things. And thus achieve what we want to achieve in terms of creating a journey process, orchestrating a journey process, which will enable us to connect better with the customer, get the customer to connect better with us, come closer to us, feel satisfied that this is the place to trust and buy a product which they need, and thus become a trusted customer, which will finally lead to what we call customer satisfaction. Build, promoter score of customers, and at the same time, build advocacy, which will help us build our business growth, grow our revenue, and make our commerce successful. But to do all that, there is a set of action points which are important to make this entire journey management successful. Journey management is not about individuals. Journey management is about ensuring an organizational adoption of prioritizing the whole world at all levels of the organization. So one is to prioritize the journey that matter. So that's going to be very important. If you can't handle all the customers' journeys, you need to understand which is priority number 1 and 2 and 3, and henceforth look at the top priorities to start looking at them and start taking actions on them. Create a journey management team that will work on this, do the customer experience mapping along with the journey understanding, do the journey of orchestration by understanding the data, analyzing the data, and coming out with an action point, accelerating the experience design using journey metrics, and then, of course, finally, which is of paramount importance, is to build the culture within our commerce enterprise to ensure that we achieve all this, and the entire perspective of prioritizing customer journeys felt across the organization, and it's adopted as something which is possibly going to be the reason for our existence. Before I end my entire subject presentation, let me quickly touch upon a summary which will leave you with certain thoughts that you carry with you, and possibly these thoughts will enable you to and understand the value why customer journey management is going to be essential and extremely important for you to grow your business and literally survive in this huge competitive world of commerce. Customer journey management helps to understand your customers better, which is of great importance. You understand the journey, you implement personalization, and then you show that you understand customers' experience, expectations, and does understand the customer at the end. Operational bottlenecks can be removed. Customer journey management also helps you to understand issues and address them to build your brand loyalty and reduce churn. And the journey management enables you to discover opportunities, connect better with your customers, and foster growth. Journey management leads to increased customer satisfaction by solving problems proactively, and customer journey management also optimizes customer services due to significantly reducing expenses with greater return on marketing ROI. Because when you do certain effectively and in a planned, structured manner, you don't spend more, but you spend effectively to ensure that your time, resource, and your investments are better utilized, and the return that you expect, and the return and the outcome that you get out of your investment reaches the optimum. And that is exactly what we are all looking for. And as members of commerce, this is something which is going to be vitally important for all of us. Let me also, at the end, touch upon a little bit about us, about Krish. I said in the beginning that, as a gold partner of Adobe, we've been, the experience solution. We've been delivering experience solution to B2B and B2C commerce. We understand to optimize, expand customer journey, resulting in more revenue, more customers, and better NPS and CLV, customer lifetime value. That's exactly what all of us are expecting to do. And this has been the goal and the objective of our existence. And this is the objective of how we connect with our customers to ensure that they're successful with their customers. We adopt a holistic customer-oriented approach, and we look at it from two perspectives. One is we are driven by the consumer and the culture, by understanding and emphasizing on how consumers behave, how the entire culture revolves around the buying process, and we also understand the micro side of how businesses and brand aspects work with our clients' business needs. So we combine these two to ensure that we come up with solutions which have the right perspectives of the business, the outcome of the business. We are extremely result driven for our customers, and we ensure that the solution has the right perspective of technology, user interfaces, user designs, and the final outcome attached to it in the form of a solution to make our customers get what they are in terms of making their customers happy and deriving results in their business. And we combine the entire solution based on our ecosystem of strategy, marketing, technology, and solutions, which enables customer-centric commerce. And all our perspectives are driven towards being sustainable and result-oriented. Quickly touching upon some of these quick notes that I've added here. We're about 200 plus people, have been handling more than 3,000 customers, close to about 2 decades of experience, and spread across the world in US, UK, Middle East, and India. Let me also, at the end, quickly touch upon what are the solutions that we have for commerce. We have 4 specific area of solutions. One is the digital development and evolution, where we do commerce development driven by Magento Commerce. We also do a re-platform and upgrade execution. And one of the things that we add great value with is that we create a lot of accelerators for B2B and B2C, which enables a customer to start its business quickly and thus save a lot of time and expenditure and enables a quick start to their business. The other thing that we do is we do a lot of work on marketing for commerce, which is driven by Adobe Campaign, Engage, and Adobe Target. And we do personalization, which I was talking about when I was discussing about the customer journey management, conversion optimization, campaign revitalization, and journey management, which I was speaking about for growth. Third is insights and analytics, which I also touched upon when I talked about the importance of analyzing the journey data. And this is driven by Adobe Analytics, Audience Manager, and we talk about market and customer analytics for reach, cross-channel data to augment growth, data visualization, and finally, experience management, which is driven by Adobe Experience Manager. And we do huge amount of work on digital content and asset management, cross-channel experience delivery, experience strategy and design. And all that we do, all these 4 things that we do, they're all driven towards enabling a customer to achieve revenue growth, improve net promoter score, cross and upsell, new segment building, new market access, higher conversion, customer retention, to finally lead into what we call CLV, or customer lifetime value. Our relationship with Krish has been for many years now, and we're, as I said, a gold partner. And this year, we are ensuring that our relationship is further built with greater alignment, and we ensure that we add on more values to our customers by our alignment with Adobe. And we ensure that we combine not just building great commerce sites for you, but we also ensure that we build the business of your commerce by the right kind of product solutions by partnering with Adobe. With that, I once again invite you to visit us at Adobe Summit, which is happening on April 27, 28. and to talk to some of our domain experts and commerce experts who will be there to answer your queries, resolve your unsolved needs, and at the same time, create framework of solutions which will help you take your business to the next level. Thank you very much for sparing time to listen to me, and I hope this session has been useful. I could be reached through emails for anything that you feel has not been resolved or anything that is left unanswered could be answered, and I'll be happy to do that. With best of luck and happy business. Thank you very much.